Thank you for joining us on this episode of KTN Mid-Morning. My name is Koi. Now, Ethiopia is a land of discovery, brilliant and beautiful, secretive, mysterious, and extraordinary. And above all things, it is a country of great antiquity with a culture and traditions dating back more than 3,000 years. Now, apart from that, Ethiopia has a distinctive style of clothes. The women's style is usually colorful and the clothes are made from cotton. And up next, we get a taste of the fashion sense in this multi-ethnic culture.
Traditional Ethiopian clothing is made from pure cotton. Most of the gowns and dresses are white and are woven at home.
We call it Abisha lips, Abisha kamis or tabab. It's made of cotton, 100% natural, 100% handmade, and it's decorated with the different colors. As you said, it's very rich in colors. It's very comfortable, it's very dressy, and it's very feminine.
Each dress has its own design, and yet there's that distinctive blend of richness, embroidery, color, and design.
We use natural things. We use what we get in our area. If you go to the south, what they wear most is leather. If you go to the north, what they wear is more what's made from cotton. So it's from whatever is there in their area.
In keeping with the times, some of the outfits were fashioned to give them that glammed up feel. This did not water down the original concept of the fabric.
Because Ethiopia is very rich in culture, in beauty, and also in fashion. We have different designs, different fashions, from ancient time. But we didn't work hard enough to bring it out or to show the world. We are trying to do that now.
Different colors of the fabric add to its versatility, while also showing the various techniques that are available. Just showing that fashion blends well with tradition.
When you are younger, of course you wear more colorful wears. Instead of the age, where depends on where you go. If you go to the church, for example, you wear white. Mostly we wear white materials. If we go to the wedding, we also wear white, but with more designed and more colored. My design is combined. It's some from the south, some from the north, for example. This is, as you see, it's pure leather. In the south, they wear mostly leather, as I told you. So I use that. And this design, you said, is from the north. So I'm trying to combine it all together.
No outfit is complete without the hair and the accessory. The ladies are dolled up in their silver and traditional stones, while their hair is styled to fit the occasion.
What I want to tell, especially Africans, is we are very rich. We are losing it though. We are wearing mostly the Europeans and the Western designs. But let's look back and let's look what our people were wearing and what they still are wearing. And it's absolutely beautiful. We can use that.
A national dress that's worn by most, not only for special occasions, but to symbolize pride in their culture and a distinctive style in dress.
Does being in a long-term relationship tend to get boring sometimes? Now, we've all had stories of couples who have been together for several years, getting bored with each other, and sometimes resulting to breakups or getting a divorce for those who are actually married. Now, what has your experience been? What happens when passion flies out of the window? Now, from your relationship, that is. Sarah and Victor Kabutha guide us when such an incident occurs on Ties That Bind, coming up next.
A lot of times when we've come from a dating relationship going into a marriage, you expect it to stay the same. You know, those feelings, you know, the butterflies in your stomach when you see that it's him calling on the phone, and, you know, every time you see him, your heart skips a beat, and going out, you know, even just for coffee or something, taking walks, and then you get married and it's like, what happened to all that? And we have a lot of people who really struggle with that, and unfortunately a lot of marriages end prematurely because of things like that, because they thought, wait, I thought that we're just going to carry on the love the way that it's been going. Why has it suddenly changed? You know, a lot of women feel like maybe this guy has cheated me because he's not pursuing me the way that he used to. And it's so important for us to remember that we go through different seasons. I like to say a lot of times that it's not, you know, you hear that the music faded in our relationship. And I like to say it's not that the music fades, but the song changes. And you have to remember that going from a dating relationship into a marriage, of course things are going to change. You're going from being single to now being in the same house. I remember even for us, we were actually excited when we got married, because now we don't have to spend money going out to restaurants and finding things to do. We can be in our own house and it's just the two of us, and we can just sit there and relax. We can watch a movie if we want until late in the night, and it was fun for us. But it's important that you recognize the seasons, but also remember again that relationships take thought and planning. So you have to plan that you don't just keep doing things the same way you always do them. You have to spice it up and be creative. You have to remember that you are stuck with this person for the rest of your life. So if you keep doing things the same way, it's going to get boring. And I think it's also important to remember, don't let yourself be guided completely by feelings. Feelings can change. We have seen marriages and people go from completely, I can't stand this person, I don't want to be in the same room with this person, to over time saying, wow, I never thought that I would have those butterflies coming back again. After a lot of work, of course. It takes a lot of work, but it takes being deliberate. You have to deliberately work at keeping your relationship creative and keeping it from being boring. I think one of the reasons that we have stayed all these years, not just 12 years of marriage, but 19 years of knowing each other, and we haven't, of course we've had different seasons, of course we've had challenges, of course we've had times where, okay, I'd rather not be in the same room with you right now. Of course you're gonna have those things. But overall, I don't think I have ever one day for 1 minute thought to myself, I really don't love this guy anymore. Actually. And even for women who get, and men as well, when you get to that point, you have to remember that you've made a commitment. And sometimes you are going to be guided not just by the warm, fuzzy feelings. It's nice when they're there. But when there are days you will get in your marriage and you will say, you know what? I am staying in this because I made a commitment. And I'm going to see it through. And I'm not going to break this commitment. And those will be hard days, but you have to know and be able to train yourself to bring back the feelings can return. A lot of times if trust has been broken, it takes a lot of time to rebuild that. That's when the feelings kind of go away. But it can be rebuilt with a lot of hard work. I think a lot of times we say that it takes both of us to keep the marriage creative. You know, probably a big reason why I never have had those moments of I never loved you anymore is because you have put the work into it. You have also contributed as well to say, okay, we're going to stay friends, so we're going to do things like friends. We still play games. Our kids laugh at us because we still wrestle on the carpet in our house, you know, and the kids join in and climb on top of us, and it's fun. We make it fun and creative.
When it comes especially to marriage, again, you know, Sarah said that we were single before we got married. Once we're married, usually children follow. And I think that one of the things I just want to say, I think as a guy too, that one of the seasons that really hit home is when the children arrive. Because 9 months before the children arrive, any of the children came, you know, Sarah's life changed, her body changes, you know, her cycles change. But the funny thing with the guy is just there. I'm it's the same way I was from the night of our honeymoon all through the 9 months that she's pregnant. And when it comes to losing the love and finding that fading that Sarah was talking about, that the song has changed, we need to understand ourselves. I think it's important to know that we as men are not women and women are not men. And I think sometimes you expect somehow in marriage that my wife is going to be my best friend, you know, like a guy. And then, or the same thing, that for her, I become her best girlfriend. But I'm not a girl. And so I think a lot of couples lose one another in those kind of in those twists and turns of life. And I think the vows that are said at the altar in marriage, at the wedding, is very interesting, because it's never just for better, for richer, in health, forever, you know, like the fairy tales, and they lived happily ever after. It's for better and for worse. So even for me as a married man, I understand that marriage is for the good times, and boy, we've had good times, but it's also for difficult times. And so it takes a lot of wisdom to cruise through the good times and the bad times. And dating, actually, just to address the society in general, I think dating is a very fickle process, because it means that you date when you have money, you date when you have a job, you date when but then we all know that in marriage, jobs will come and jobs will go. Scenarios will change, you know, roles can be challenged even in a marriage. And so you really need a lot of wisdom to face those changes with courage. And I think for us as men then, like when my kids came, instead of just getting bored or feeling like, oh, look at my wife now, she's a mom, so I'm neglected, I begin asking my question, well, how can I be involved? These are my children. I think one of the things that makes me feel masculine is being a father, that I have my own children. And I think there's a lot of men who feel that, no, you raise the children and give them to me when they're grown. But that guy will get bored. I think his season in life is to be a father. But you see, a father needs to be an upgrade from a single guy who didn't have children to a man now who has a bigger account and greater stewardship. So for me, I think we simplify our view of even deep relationships almost as if we're still dating, but we are different people. You know, I'm not who I was, 25 years ago. And if I don't change, then I look like I'm 40, but I'm acting like I'm 18. Even the 18-year-olds will say, hey, mbuyu, songa, because to them, they want you to create that space. And also, let me say that I think when we go through the seasons successfully, we inspire those who are behind us to say, if this is what marriage looks like, I can do this, where most of us are like, no, if that's what marriage looks like, I think, so marriage becomes postponed, I think, when we have the wrong view of it.
Ethiopia is said to be Africa's royal dynasty, and it's not easy to argue with that point, especially after seeing a bit of their sense of style. Do send us your comments to midmorning@standupmedia.co.ke or go to our Facebook page, KTN Midmorning, drop in a comment, and don't forget to like our page as well. That's it for today. We will have more for you tomorrow, so be sure to join us.